I've been hired to engage in fraud. I've been caught engaged in fraud. But it's easily discernible from the real and accurate news that's out there. Even when you're an expert in this, you occasionally get hoodwinked. But it's good to just know this stuff is going on. It's a big whitewash. It's a big whitewash. It's a big whitewash.
And people say, well, you're disuniting the Patriot movement. I don't believe they're a part of the Patriot movement.
I agree.
What's your thoughts?
Agreed. I was told when I first released Vatican Assassins that I was dividing the Christian community. And my response was, no, I'm not. I'm bringing out those who really are Christians, who really do believe the Bible, and those who don't. And that's the same principle here with the Patriot movement. We are bringing out those who are truly patriots, who truly want to seriously consider every aspect and then think for themselves and draw their own conclusions, as opposed to those quote-unquote patriots who, although filled with much good information, they have an agenda of then directing the conclusion away from the source of the problem. And that means they are gatekeepers, they are deceivers, they are liars, and we have to point them out and name names and give our reasons why and open it up to debate if they wish to debate our conclusions, so that we can really truly be objective journalists in seeking to resist that power that is destroying our nation. I got one email from one coadjutor, and his name is Robert, and he greatly attacked myself and Lenny Bloom over calling Alex Jones a coadjutor, and mentioned that if it wasn't for Alex Jones, we wouldn't know anything about most of the details in the conspiracy. Well, I will not disagree with that. Alex Jones has brought many important details of this grand conspiracy against our country to our attention. However, that's not the point. The point is who rules. Just like when Garrison is at the prison camp there at Angola prison, he wants to interview that one guy that's in prison there with regard to Clay Shaw, and as he's talking, he puts forth the question, who rules? And that's the $64,000 question that every true journalist, every true historian must seek to face. And then when he finds that answer, have the courage enough to go public with it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what did your 45-minute show recently uncover?
Some of the high points were, number one, that he refuses to entertain the topic of the Jesuits. And I got an email from a gentleman, and he said that I noticed that Alex avoided the Jesuit word. The reception was so poor that day, and Alex was blustering at the caller, Walt, that I missed Alex saying the J word, yes, twice, without prompting from Walt. And he says, a replay went as follows. The caller, Walt from Michigan, of course, that's Walt Williams, we know, was very easy talking about Catholic control of world events, or actually papal control, and intelligence agencies and Illuminati. Then Alex jumps in and says, I know that Adam Weishaupt was a Jesuit and was involved in the formation of the Illuminati. So there's his first use of the word. Walt continues about the popes had been after the English kings and Protestants to come back under Vatican control of the temple power of the Pope. Then Alex jumps on him. Oh, you're saying that King Henry VIII was a good guy? Walt continues, I did not say that. Then continues politely about a Catholic intervention in world events through secretive orders. Alex jumps on him with, you're probably going to say it's the Jesuits who control the secret societies and Masons, etc. So here are two times that Alex has used the word Jesuits, but it's been in a manner, in an attempt to intimidate the caller. Never will he use the word Jesuit or investigate the topic. Here's another email I got from a lady named Kathy. She says, wanted to let you know that I was at the 9/11 Scholars for Truth meeting in Chicago. And this was in June of 2007. And I believe it was last year, and saw Alex there. Okay, that's 2006. We had big boards that we had behind a table giving free books away on the Jesuits, and Alex saw these boards. He also talked to a friend of mine that was there and wouldn't talk about the Jesuit role. So he was there, these people were handing out books on the Jesuits, and he refused to talk about the Jesuit role. So again, he's deliberately skirting the issue. Now we go to another one I get from a gentleman named Jeff. He says, since Alex Jones is against the Patriot Act, it seems as if he would actually speak out about who authored it, but he won't. Michael Chertoff, of course, the Jew, and which is now the head of Department of Homeland Security, is credited as the architect of the USA Patriot Act. But he, in fact, co-authored it, which is true, and I cover this in my book, with Viet E. Dinh, D-I-N-H, the Vietnamese man, of Jesuit Georgetown Law Center. Viet Dinh served 2 years as a U.S. Assistant Attorney General, and during that time was instrumental in drafting the USA Patriot Act. Dinh is also a member of the CFR. So here we have Viet Dinh, who Alex Jones refuses to attack, and this guy is a professor at Georgetown University, and he was a U.S. Assistant Attorney, probably affiliated with that Knight of Malta Giuliani, and he's a member of the CFR, and therefore the Jesuits had authored the Patriot Act, had written it from Georgetown, and had it tabled, ready to go right after 9/11 with this coadjutor, Dinh, and yet Alex Jones will say nothing about this man. Nothing. Another man he will not deal with is John C. Gannon, which we covered in a previous broadcast, founder of the Department of Homeland Security. John C. Gannon is a Knight of Malta. He is involved with Georgetown University. He was a member of the Jesuit Volunteer Corps. This is the founder of America's future SS and Gestapo. And yet he is never, ever touched by Jones. Other men involved in the Homeland Security are men like Emilio T. Gonzalez, who is also a Knight of Malta and is also affiliated with Georgetown and is subject to Cardinal Egan. But yet, none of these men are talked about by Alex Jones. We go on a little bit farther. Alex Jones going to Bohemian Grove. Well, I'm glad that he photographed it, but he doesn't deal with the historic Catholic priest, John Nepoltic, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, who in the 12th century was put to death by the king of the country that he was in, I believe it was Bohemia, because he refused to divulge the secrets of the confessional. And of course the confessional is nothing but Rome's international system of espionage, where it collects intelligence. So the Jesuits then are a great defender of this John Nepoltic, who is there in his statue with a finger over his mouth at Bohemian Grove. Nothing is mentioned about this priest by Alex Jones. And we also have to remember that the Jesuits established San Francisco University. And remember, every Jesuit university is a military fortress. It is not a place of education and learning. It is a military fortress from which they hatch out their plots and conspiracies against the people of that country. Well, they founded San Francisco University in 1855, just 6 years before the war between the states. And it's interesting that, in 1872 or thereabouts, Bohemian Grove is established. Now, Father Chiniquy, who was a priest in Rome for 25 years, he came to know the Lord, became a Presbyterian, and he wrote a book called 50 Years in the Church of Rome. In that book, he said that San Francisco had been in the hands of the Jesuits since 1850. And that all the gold rush there, all the gold was in the hands of the Jesuits because they convinced their Irish Catholics to stay, and that they would consolidate all the gold finds there into the hands of these Irish Catholic miners, and which is exactly what they did. The Jesuits completely controlled the Comstock lode. In addition, they controlled Wells Fargo Bank and then Nevada Bank. All that was in their hands way back at the turn of the century. Don't you think that little Bohemian Grove was just a little asset of their power and of their properties? Of course, but Alex Jones will never go to the Jesuit power in California and relate that to Bohemian Grove. Never. So these are some of the high points with him. Another one is his continual fraternizing with Pat Buchanan. Pat Buchanan is a Jesuit-trained Knight of Malta, Irish Roman Catholic, political fascist, even though he denies it, and he is a very dangerous man. And it's
Eric, can you just hold it there? We're going to take a short 3-minute break,
okay,
and we'll pick up with this connection to Pat Buchanan right after these short messages. You're listening to the Investigative Journal. I'm your host, Greg Szymanski. My guest today is Eric John Phelps, and he's the author of Vatican Assassins 3. We'll be back after these short messages.